Hello bookworms, welcome back to my channel and to another book review, and this time I will be talking about Children of Men by none other than P.D. James. Now I'm currently rewatching Murder, She Wrote, and J.B. Fletcher said that she was reading a fascinating novel by P.D. James, and when Angela Lansbury recommends you a book, you listen to her. Also, I'm aware that the last sentence made absolutely no sense to some of you, and in that case, go watch Murder, She Wrote and find out what I'm talking about. Anyway, after recovering from the shock that it was actually P.D. James who wrote Children of Men, I managed to get my hands on an audiobook. She's mostly known for detective books, that's why I was so surprised. So Children of Men is about the near future. It was written in the early 90s and takes place in 2021. And in the world of the book, humans have lost the ability to have children and they are slowly dying out. Now, this world might be a dystopia or a utopia, depending on your worldview. The protagonist is Theo Farron, a middle-aged lecturer and a cousin to the Warden of England, who is approached by a group of resistors to the government. They want him to use his connection to the ruler, his cousin, in order to help better the conditions and the lives of the population. And Theo, despite being a rather pessimistic non-believer, finds himself drawn more and more to their cause. So this was one of those cases where the movie became, I feel, more popular than the book. And if indeed you've seen the movie or know what it's about, I will start by saying that the two are very different. This book is not a fast action-filled thriller. It's a slow drama with very little plot twists. Also, if you do know the movie and you've heard my plot synopsis, you might be thinking, wait, aren't you missing something? Isn't the whole plot surrounding one character in a very unique situation? Well, no. This plot point only happens in the last third of the book. So be aware of what you're getting. It's neither good nor bad, just two very different stories. But before I get into my opinion on this book, I will remind you that I upload book reviews and other book-related videos every other Friday, so make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that you won't miss any new upload. Having said that, there is a chance that the next couple of videos will not be on schedule. Between my everyday work, my freelance job, house chores, and actually reading an entire book in order to make a video out of it, it became a little too stressful, and I need some time to pick myself up before I can come back to the usual uploading schedule. But now, back to the review. So, what did I think about Children of Men? I really enjoyed it. It was slow, but very interesting. It was rather different than what I expected. I haven't seen the movie, but I know a lot about it, and as mentioned, they are very different. This book is in the same category as A Brave New World and 1984. It's a concept book with a what-if question. The way most dystopian books are, you know, what if in the future people decide to repress negative emotions? Or what if humans lost the ability to have children? And creating a thesis basically of what would happen in this situation. However, unlike some other concept books, like the one I talked about in my last video, this one does have more to it than just a what would happen if. Starting with the fact that as a concept book, the concept itself is very interesting and very well presented. The world building is pretty good. Now, the book does involve entries from Farron's diary, and one could see it as an exposition dump, I'll give you that. I mean, who writes a diary explaining about events that happened a couple of years earlier? This wasn't very organic to the story, but I still liked how we get the background and the present situation little by little. And even though Theo does explain the basic premise in this diary, the rest is told through the story happening. We see different interesting outcomes of the situation. How, for example, sales of dolls increased to accommodate for people desperately wanting babies. How the last generation born was so spoiled they basically became evil. Actually, my favorite line from this book was regarding them. If from infancy you treat children as gods, they are liable at adulthood to act as devils. However, this book is definitely not for everyone. And saying that, let's move to the negatives of this book. First off, it's slow. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but I have a feeling, considering how famous the movie is, that people would expect a fast-paced dystopian thriller. It's not. It takes its time. It also took a main plot point, which in my opinion should have been the majority of the book, and only introduced it in the last third of the book, approximately. Again, not necessarily a negative, but I did feel the book could have picked up the pace a little bit, and I feel that people that aren't very patient will get bored of it. Now add a slow pace to the fact that part of it's written as a diary entry, and you have a very interesting book that sometimes feel like it takes forever to progress. Then there are the characters, which I feel bad about putting in a negative aspect of the review. I will sum it up by saying that the characters were good, just not fully developed. The group Theo slowly joins are these rebel martyrs type, and each one has this one personality trait that defines them. Ironically, Theo points it out himself. He's mocking their reasoning by calling out this one particular character trait. One of them is religious, for example. That's his entire personality. One had a brother who was harmed by the new government. Avenging him is her only personality trait, etc. And then there's Theo, the main character, who is very interesting actually. He's a middle-aged, very British, jaded, bitter intellectual who wants proof and research before he signs off anything. And he's a very good protagonist, but I hated him as a person, which I wonder if that was the whole idea. But no doubt having a very unlikable character being the narrator and the focus of a book definitely has its challenges. And lastly, let's acknowledge the theme of the novel. Obviously, it's a concept book, so the main concept is rather important to it. Now, as this 34-year-old woman who never wants to have children and who comes from a Middle Eastern nosy background, I'm a little bit sensitive to the whole everyone needs to have children narrative that we're sometimes pushed rather aggressively. And I was wary about how I would feel about reading a book of the horror of not being able to reproduce, and I kept wondering how would I react if this happened in real life and I realized that I was one of the only people who could actually bear children. Would I do it for humankind? I don't have an answer yet, by the way, and I don't want to think about it anymore. But basically, this is not what the book is actually about. This is just a catalyst. This book is, much like other dystopian books, about power and the corruption of the government. And as much as it portrays an interesting situation, I feel like, much like the characters, it's never fully fleshed out. It's as if the author had a general idea and just went with it without thinking everything through. Even at the very end, we don't actually get any satisfying conclusion, in my opinion at least. I am totally up for a bit of an open ending, but I honestly feel no actual conclusion was reached, which could actually have been the whole point of the novel. After all, Theo is a cynical man who doesn't believe in happy endings and rainbows and sunshines, and maybe the book's goal was to make us a little bit like that as well. So let me hopefully reach a satisfying conclusion to this video. This book was interesting, and if its genre and theme seem like something you would like, then go read it. Just don't expect anything too groundbreaking or profound. And guys, that's it for my review. Thank you very much for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to like and share it to the world. And while you're there, also subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. Have you read this book? Seen the movie? Read anything else by P.D James? Listen to everything Angela Lansbury tells you? Let me know in the comment section. Again, bookworms, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Maybe not in 2 weeks. Let's see how things progress. I will keep you updated in Instagram probably. I'm currently reading another Stephen King book. Let's see how that goes. It's 1,000,000 pages long. Wish me luck. At any case, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.